I'm Jeff Hunt. He's Bill Thorpe. Supreme Court spoken.
And Trump's going to be big mad.
710 KNUS in Denver.
And on AM 1460, FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs.
All along the Front Range. This is the Jeff and Bill Show where you get both sides. The Supreme Court ruling against Trump tariff. And 6-3 decision invalidating Trump's tariffs as they are under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. Now, lots of people saying that there's other ways he could approach this. We haven't heard from the Trump administration yet. I'm sitting here refreshing Rapid Response 47, which is the official X account of the White House that you can often get comments from and what they plan to do here. But there's bigger things to debate here. The role of tariffs. Is this good for America? And do you hand it to Congress to do that? People pointing out, well, we rely on Congress to approve treaties, for instance. Okay. But here's the thing. Have you ever been to the tariff website? They have a website where you could go see what the tariff is based upon the country. Okay. It breaks down chicken tariffs, for instance. There's got to be 60 different chicken tariffs, depending on the type of chicken you're importing, the body part that you're importing. I mean, it is different through and through. I don't know who came up with that. I'm guessing it's not Congress who came up with the 60 plus whatever different types of chicken tariffs you could have based upon what country it's coming from. So I look at the inability of Congress to do really anything, and I go, those are the people that are going to determine that? And then you put it in the realm of foreign negotiations. Trump, for instance, declaring the cartels narco-terrorists. All right? So now a tariff becomes a tool in his tool bag. In fact, it's his favorite word, right? It's his favorite tool. So he can go to Mexico and go, Mexico, get serious about the cartels or you're going to face tariffs. It's crazy. All right. To me, it seems like a tool. Let's get to the Trump speaking right now. Bill, do you want to try to pull him in? I don't know. I don't know if you can do this. All right, let's go to the news and see if maybe we can get Trump's response. But now it's time for Blake Olson in the news.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Hey, good morning, TGIF. 21 and mostly cloudy in Denver, 23 in the Springs, expecting highs in the low 30s today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning. For a new home heating and cooling system, contact your Lennox dealer, Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at pastorcamp.com. Conditions apply. See dealer for details. Our top story.
$900 billion in tariffs, unless the Supreme Court said you can't do it. Can you believe it?
And they did it. And if Billy wants to jump in anytime,
I think we were looking. Fox had up an old speech, so they are awaiting Trump's reaction right now. We're all awaiting it to see. But 6-3 with. You had the Chief Justice, John Roberts, along with Kavanaugh and Barrett joining with the progressive wing against Trump on this.
They said he overstepped his constitutional limits when he imposed the tariffs. It seems like the word of the day, overstepped his bounds. We talked about that a couple hours ago with Denver Public Schools. So if he does come up live, Jeff and Billy may jump in here and play a little bit of that. 47 previously said the Supreme Court tariffs case is life or death for our country. But legal expert Jonathan Turley says Stand by, caller.
The administration has other tools in its toolbox. It can actually impose tariffs under other statutes. So this night is hardly over for the administration when it comes to tariffs.
All right, it's going to be an interesting Friday, interesting weekend, believe it or not. The Denver Auditor says a recent audit for the Caring for Denver Foundation Fund shows the foundation spent taxpayer money on alcohol and routine meals and didn't vet grant applications appropriately. Auditor Anthony O'Brien says even though Caring for Denver is not held to Denver's fiscal rules, they should be. Caring for Denver says it has already changed many of its policies regarding reimbursements for staff, including making alcohol a non-reimbursable expense. In 2018, you may remember Denver voters approved a 0.25% sales tax hike to create a fund to help people with mental health challenges and substance abuse. Authorities are analyzing DNA evidence and following up on other leads as the search for Nancy Guthrie continues in southern Arizona. The Pima County Sheriff's 911 Communications Center is asking callers, and thousands of callers there. I got to scroll up here, see if I can get that, to make sure they believe that they have a good tip for them as they look for the 84-year-old who was reported missing on February 1st. Former Prince Andrew has been released under investigation after being arrested by British police Thursday. He was Satan Epstein's pedo friend. The late Virginia Giuffre, she exposed Andrew years ago.
I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that even royalty were involved.
She committed suicide even though she said she wasn't suicidal. Savannah Guthrie actually did that interview with her years ago.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much. And I guess we're going to be asking the press to leave. And that way we're going to talk very candidly and take questions, I think.
That was DJT this morning before all the tariff talk. He was with some governors and hosted them for a bipartisan working breakfast at the White House. Wes Moore of Maryland and guess who? Governor Polis were disinvited to the event by 47.
How do you think Polis feels about that, by the way? What do you think?
You know what? I don't know. His feelings may be hurt.
Do you see him?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Billy, what do you think? Do you see him as prideful and so eager to be on the national stage that invitation just chides him?
Not necessarily.
Disinformation.
No, I think what it has to do is that this is a group of people that say, everybody comes regardless of our disagreements, and this has been hosted traditionally with all of us. Arbitrarily picking petty fights and disinviting people is childish and immature and not what this group or gathering is about. And if you want to participate in it, then invite everybody. If you don't, then don't have it. And so the idea that you then would go forward and then each president would instead decide who the faves are, and then now we're just picking who's going to, the popular kids are going to sit at the table. We're back to middle school or high school. It's silly. This is built on everybody coming, regardless of political affiliation or anything else, and you do it.
How did you feel when you weren't invited to stuff? Blake, how would you feel if you were the governor and Trump invites everybody but you and one other guy?
It wouldn't bother me.
Yeah,
I mean, if Obama didn't invite me to the White House, I would say thank God, because I'm going to use the time to make our state better.
Oh yeah, I'd fundraise off of it, 100%.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to waste people's time with me going to a breakfast.
By the way, speaking of fundraising, guys, oh my gosh, I watched that James Tacarito, whatever his name is, the senator from Texas. I watched the Colbert interview because I'm paid to do terrible things that our listeners don't have to do. It was one of the worst interviews ever. It was
Is that right?
so boring. Now I'm inundated with this dude's advertising.
I know.
And
It's everywhere.
He outright lies that the Trump FCC blocked his interview, which doesn't happen. And for a guy that loves to claim Jesus the way he does, and he's a seminarian, he's studying.
He is weird.
He is a weirdo.
Absolutely.
There's some weirdness happening there.
No question. What is it? Taquerito? Is that what you said?
James.
Is there
I'm afraid.
I've seen it. I've seen him.
Tallarico. And look, I was around this. I went to the world's largest, or America's largest seminary at one point, and there was a very strong progressive wing, and it's like this notion that, like, I think the old critique was that leftists will put religion on like a skin suit. They pretty much ignore everything that the Bible teaches, yet they love to claim Jesus, and that's James. So, yeah.
I'm gonna pray that he doesn't see the light of day.
James Tallarico.
Tallarico.
Google that, and you'll get followed around with ads for the next 3 weeks.
You got that right. I've seen way too much of his face lately. A former sergeant of the Parker Police Department, Troy Brienzo, is under investigation for an alleged incident in January. Brienzo, that is, was placed on administrative leave, and the matter was turned over to an outside law enforcement agency to conduct the investigation. The Parker police chief says the allegations run counter to the department's mission and tarnish the badge that they wear. The department says they are cooperating fully, and Brienzo resigned last week. Women's hockey from Team USA with the gold medal. They won last night 2-1 over Canada in overtime. And the semifinals for the men's team today versus Slovakia. Clippers beat the Nuggets 115-114 last night, even though Nikola Jokic had 22-17 rebounds, 6 assists. Not good enough.
We kind of create some kind of shots, but we are not making those kind of big shots. Hopefully that's going to change.
Next 30 days are going to be important for them to improve as they get ready for the postseason in a couple of months. 23 in the Springs, 21 in Denver. That's the latest. I'm Blake Olson. More of the Jeff and Bill Show ahead on News Talk 710 KNUS in Denver, and now on AM 1460 and FM 101.1 The Answer in Colorado Springs. This is where you hear both sides. We are the Jeff and Bill Show.
The second of 3 waves has now moved out of Colorado. We're going to see a winter storm across the plains of Nebraska into parts of the northwest Corn Belt with cold Canadian air coming in behind the system. You're going to find temperatures here in Denver and Colorado Springs much colder than what we've been used to lately. We're going to spend most of today in the mid to upper 30s, teens tonight, and Denver and Colorado Springs will only be in the 30s on Friday. Now, wave number 3, the last of these waves, comes through on Friday. And while it's not going to be a big storm, we're going to see a little bit of light snow developing along the I-25 corridor, out across 70, both in the mountains and on the plains. So travelers keep that in mind. Light dusting to snow Friday and Friday night and continued quite cold through Saturday. Temperatures rebound with high pressure returning as we get into Saturday afternoon, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. In the meantime, be ready for a little bit of winter. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
710 KNUS here in Denver.
And on AM 1460 along with FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs.
All along the Front Range, this is the Jeff and Bill Show. The U.S. Supreme Court striking down Trump's use of the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, the IEEPA, to enact his Liberation Day tariffs, 6-3 against them. Now, Bill, if Trump really wanted to be like Jared Polis, here's what he'd do.
Yeah.
You ready for this?
Ooh, please. Yes, go for it.
All right. He would set up a website that says The Great Trump Payback.
I like this. I like where we're going.
And you would log on and you'd enter your bank account. And if they have to give the tariffs back, it would just go directly into your bank account. And he would claim to be the great, awesome, amazing political figure that Jared Polis did when we got our Tabor refunds, right?
That's fantastic.
You know, the great Colorado payback or whatever
Cashback.
it is.
Because it wasn't
Cashback.
cashback, it was Koshback because they mispronounced it and stuff the first time.
Cashback?
Yeah, he said, well, he just mispronounced it. And again, I mispronounce things all the time, but I think it's hilarious because I'm not governor.
Well, I mispronounce things too. People love to make fun of me on the text messages about that. And I am paid to speak, so do what you want with that.
It's embarrassment all the time for me.
Bill, what if Trump did this? Let's connect with Polis even more.
Yeah, I like this.
Trump walks up to the podium, all right?
Yeah.
And in the corner is let's say some cash.
Yeah.
In a glass case.
He has to break it.
He has to break it.
Yes, I hope so.
So he puts on some goofy little goggles and he walks
I love
over
that.
and he bangs against it and then he pulls out the money and starts to hand it to everybody, and it's called the Great Trump Cashback.
What I love is I do think that at least Trump's team would be smart enough to make the glass breakable. Because my favorite part about that whole Jared Polis stunt is he hits the glass and the panel just falls backwards. Doesn't smash, just becomes a different kind of an obstacle, and he's not sure what to do with it. I love that part. That's my favorite part.
Trump, there's a way forward here, and we just helped you.
Yeah.
Maybe Jared Polis becomes a little bit of an example.
Here's the absolute genius in what my buddy Jeff said right there, is Trump has been floating since the first couple of months of his administration that we were all going to get a fat refund check. Now, what it was for has changed. First, it was going to be a Doge refund check. Then we were going to get a tariff dividend check. And then we were going to get a Trump is handsome check or something like that. I forgot what it was. I may have been making that last one up. But I think that he could turn lemons into lemonade and maybe even adding just a little bit of rum in there, too, to make it spicy. If he would turn around and say, this stinks. We're approaching ways. We're going to find ways that we can do this. But in the meantime, here's a check I'm sending you. And there are breakdowns based on where you are economically and how much cash you may get. And it would be the Trump refund check. He should ignore the idea of tariffs. He can even call it the Trump cashback check, whatever the hell he wants to call it. But I think that would be the best way to simply and completely pave over this loss and turn it into a win. The problem is he's going to have to give the money back. And in his entire life,
and that's not
I don't
clear
think
in
he's
this
wired.
decision at this point.
Yeah,
and even
exactly.
Kavanaugh mentioning we're not quite sure how this is all going to happen because it could be billions of dollars. And what's fascinating to me is, Truth Social typically posting all the time. Rapid Response 47 typically posting all the time. They've both been silent for at least an hour now. No response yet from the White House regarding the U.S. Supreme Court strike down of the use of the IEEPA to determine tariffs, global tariffs. What do you expect to happen? How do we go forward with tariffs? Is this essentially the end of tariffs now in America because you got to rely on Congress? Congress can't even keep our budget going. Can't even keep the lights on. And you're going to expect those guys to figure out tariffs as we're negotiating with countries? What do we need to do here? In my mind, tariffs as a negotiating tool should remain with the president. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Is it just the power to tax? And that belongs with Congress. Give us a call, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. Folks, let's talk Dan Caplis. I've known Dan for well over a decade. This guy, pro-life, pro-family, pro-faith, pro-America. He's one of the best Coloradans I've ever met. 40 years getting justice for people who've been hurt in serious motor vehicle crashes. So if you've been injured in a crash, you need to call Dan Caplis. Get him on your side. Dan is believed to be the only lawyer in Colorado history to win 5 straight multi-million-dollar verdicts in Colorado crash cases. Dan is also believed to have won the largest truck crash verdict in Colorado state history. Dan Caplis Law, the official law firm partner of the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche. Dan Caplis Law, a serious firm for serious cases. Dan accepts righteous injury cases on a percentage fee basis so that he can represent good people from all walks of life without regard to ability to pay. So if you need Dan's help, give him a call, 303-770-5551. 303-770-5551 or hit dancaplisLaw.com. That's Dan, C-A-P-L-I-S law.com. More of the Jeff and Bill Show to come on 710 KNUS in Denver.
And on AM 1460, FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs. This is where you get to hear both sides. We are the Jeff and Bill Show.
710 KNUS in Denver.
And now, AM 1460, FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs.
All along the Front Range. This is the Jeff and Bill Show, where you hear both sides. The breaking news regarding the Supreme Court is that they have ruled against Trump's use of the tariff powers under the IEEPA and said that that has not given them the powers to declare economic emergencies and then levy tariffs the way he did under the, what was it called? The Tariff Liberation Day.
Yes, Liberation Day. They were supposed to usher in the golden age of America.
6-3 decision. Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, and Brett Kavanaugh dissenting. Justice John Roberts saying the framers gave the power to Congress alone, notwithstanding the obvious foreign affairs implications on tariffs. And whatever may be said of other powers that implicate foreign affairs, we would not expect Congress to relinquish its tariff power through vague language or without careful limits. Roberts noted that Trump used two words that were separated by 16 others in the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, regulate and importation, to justify that he had the independent power to impose tariffs on imports from any country of any product at any rate for any amount of time. Those words cannot bear such weight. What do you think of that? Give us a call, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. Let's talk Gyrie's, folks. My wife and I recently went to Gyrie's in Parker. They're all over the Denver metro area. Had an absolutely fantastic experience. We got to sit down with their professional designer who showed us an incredible selection of Hunter Douglas custom blinds, shades, and shutters. I was a little overwhelmed at first. I've never worked with a design pro, but she was awesome, who walked us through everything, helped us find the perfect options to enhance the look and functionality of our home. We got blinds that come down now. And we used to purchase cheap blinds online. They would break, and only one side would go up and down. It was a mess. We have blinds that every single day, we have a little remote control on the side by our light switch, and our blinds go up and down. And we have a weird old 90s bathroom with a with a tub right in the middle of it. And so you can't even get to the other side of where the blinds are without having to climb over it. I don't like it at all. But I now have remote control blinds that go up and down. I don't have to worry too much about crawling over that old 90s tub to lower the blinds in the bathroom. So whether your curtains are clashing or you just want a fresh look, Guy Reese has the solution for you. They're designers or the experts who can help you with everything from window treatments to full room decor. Here's the best part. They offer a personalized in-home consultation. They'll come directly to you so you can get the same expert advice right in your own home. Do yourself a favor. Get started today. Visit GuyRees.com to schedule your in-home consultation. That's GUIRYS.com. Go see the great people at Guy Rees. You'll be sure to thank me. Let's go to the phone lines. John in Denver. Good morning, John. What do you think of these tariffs and this decision from the Supreme Court?
Miles of smiles on your radio dial. Look,
hey, nice
I'm a drop shipper, and what happens is we fill out on all of those items, whether I sell it on Amazon, whether I sell it through a website, no matter what, whether it's through, I buy it through Taobao, whether I buy it through AliExpress. Each one of them has a tariff amount, 30%, 58%, depending on the item. I have documentation of how much I paid in tariffs, and I plan on getting all of that money back, and I will not be giving it to any of my consumers. You made a contract for a price for an item. You bought it. You have no evidence that you paid any tariff. At the end of the day, you only see what's delivered to you. You paid a final price, and it came in the mail. I, on the other hand, paid an importer cost in a tariff. I had paid shipping. All of that's documented, and all of it will be returned to me as profit.
John, I got a question on
do you
that,
think? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Bill.
On that, did you sell your goods at the same price? Or was there a price increase? Once you had to pay the tariffs, was there a price increase?
Some of them I had to eat. Some of them I did eat some profit loss. On some of them, I increased the process price.
So if you pass the cost, the increased cost, onto the consumer, you're not paying it anymore. It's no longer technically on your ledger. That is a cost that has been absorbed by the consumer paying a higher cost. And that
Which
is
the
going to be...
consumer can't prove.
But actually,
So
they could.
you have no
Wait,
evidence of
John,
it.
stop. Hang on a sec. Yes, they can, because you just right now on the Jeff and Bill show said that you increased costs based on those tariffs. So we do have proof positive that costs to the end consumer have risen. The sticky wicket is figuring out how much, where, and to whom. Now, I agree that it is incredibly difficult to unwind it. And if I was in charge, I think the smartest thing is to refund the money back to importers, but I don't think that wins you elections, nor does it make you popular, and I think you get the American electorate angry at you. That's why I think Trump's move, if he's going to refund anything...
These tariffs were a completely idiotic idea.
I agree.
The only person that they should be mad at are Republicans for not having stood up to Trump and said, no, you're taking our powers as Congress. All of those congressmen should be voted out, period. If you're a Republican and stood behind Trump, you have egg on your face, not the other way around. The responsible parties of this were Trump and the Republican Party. Had nothing to do with what I, as a business, had to do in response to continue to function.
I agree.
Those were all logical actions that I needed to do in order to continue.
I mean, John,
I'll tell you another thing.
Do you think, though, that the tariffs were some surprise? You don't think Trump talked about this when he was running for office?
Absolutely. He did. And they were stupid right then. Congress and people who were running should have said they're stupid. I think that the Democrats didn't do enough to win. You're right. And people voted for it. They're stupid. I'm sorry, but that's the end result.
Well, no, John, I disagree that the notion that they're just stupid. John, manufacturing has collapsed.
I'm sorry, you lost at the Supreme Court. Give me my money.
John,
period.
So all we're going to do is just go back to the way things were with regards to the collapse of manufacturing in America. You're going to have lots of cheap crap from China. Be happy. The only people that are going to be offering jobs is Amazon. So get used to it, right? Is that what you're saying, John?
Globalism has brought you what? Affordable goods, a higher standard of living, and your complaint is,
my complaint is Americans are more in debt, more depressed, with a lack of economic mobility, worse than at any point in American history. What globalism brought was a disaster to America.
Of optimism has dropped. You're correct. Donald Trump has made everyone less happy and everyone more poor. You're correct. Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate it. Do have a wonderful day. I look forward to getting my money back. Enjoy not having it.
Yeah, I'm not certain. I'm not sure the imports.
That's a winning message from those that are celebrating the Supreme Court decision. I can't wait to get my money back. Enjoy not having it.
I can't. I don't think that it is as cut and dry as John thinks it is because of exactly what we talked about. That once the importer raises the price of their goods on the consumer, they have passed through that tariff effect. They no longer have that as an expense on their ledger sheet because they have been made whole based on the increase in the cost. And we have a report from the Fed just last week that said that 90% of Trump's tariffs have been absorbed or paid for by consumers, the end user of the good that was imported into the country. So I don't think that John's argument is as cut and dry as he says it is, especially because on that ledger, John, once you increase those costs, you no longer show that total amount of import cost as a loss. There's a mitigating factor there that lowers it.
That's a good point. So this could get very complicated with returns and lawsuits and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Let's go and talk about modern rugged leather. From city streets to mountain trails, your gear should go wherever life takes you. That's why at Modern Rugged Leather, every bag is handcrafted from premium, responsibly sourced leather, designed to look sharp, last long, and tell a story of its own. Each stitch, buckle, strap reflects timeless craftsmanship and is backed by a lifetime warranty, because quality shouldn't quit when the adventure begins. Whether it's in the boardroom or the back roads, Modern Rugged Leather helps you carry confidence every step of the way. Modern Rugged Leather, modern style, timeless durability, backed for life. Life's going to take you places, folks. Make sure your gear keeps up. I absolutely love this bag. It is the best leather bag I've ever owned. Shop the full collection and find yours today at modernrugged.com. Again, that's modernrugged.com. I still don't hear an answer for the challenges that Trump and some that shaped his economic policy are seeking to address, which is that you don't have global free trade. You have countries that undercut wages, prop up industries, and what do you do with that? How do you respond to the fact that some countries make steel at an artificially low number, and you're trying to manufacture and build things with steel? I get that, we're a country that with unions and cost of living and all that stuff makes it difficult to operate in. But this notion of just running back to this global free trade, everything's global free trade, when it's not really the case that it is, you have bad actors that are manipulating the marketplace. What do you do?
My answer is, do your job. And that job is outlined by the Constitution, and that is a power delegated to Congress. And so if all of these tariffs that Trump has enacted are so vital to America's economic standing, so vital to ushering in America's golden age, so vital to making America great again, well, Republicans, put on your mandate pants, pass it. Pass it. You have control of the White House, the House, and the Senate.
I'm not sure they have control of the Senate. They can bring things to vote, but they don't have 60 votes in the Senate.
Well, they wouldn't need 6. They might not need 60 in the other days, but they have the majority. They dictate what is brought up. They dictate the agenda. They dictate the debate. They're in charge. They control it. And I'm sorry, but if the Republicans control the White House, the Senate, and the House, and they say we can't do anything, that's on you. You got those three, and you can't do anything? That's on you. Do it as it has been set out, and it is functional. Republicans could easily pass this if they really, really super wanted to. Put the bills together. Do it. And do the process and the negotiations and get it done. That's the issue, is that this seems to be that the Republicans and some others in Congress want to abdicate their responsibility and allow the executive to govern by fiat. And if you think it's a great idea that anybody listening to Jeff and Bill show thinks it's a great idea that Donald Trump can just use this to enact an economic emergency to declare these tariffs, then tell me why you were so mad about Joe Biden trying to eliminate student loan debt. Because he was using much of the same arguments about it being an emergency and a crisis. He just didn't use the IEEPA. So maybe next time we could, right? Right? As long as we have to just declare it's an economic emergency and then the president can direct by fiat whatever he wants to have happen, there we go. But if we are this idea of a constitutional republic and you believe in the Constitution as much as so many of you say you do, you showed up at those Constitution Day celebrations, you carry that pocket Constitution around with you, you talk about to those Democrats, have you even read this? Article 1, Section 8. Does that hold true? If so, put your mandate pants on that you bragged about, pass them. Pass those tariffs.
Only if you define tariff as a tax. That's it. If you define it, you go, this is just a tax.
It is.
It's a tool for the president in foreign policy negotiations that has now been removed from the president and handed to 435 people who can't even find particular countries on a map. And Can't even keep the government funded. Congratulations. I'm a little bit with Steven here, texting in. Perfect example of doing the right thing can be wrong. Don't hire a plumber to do carpentry. Don't hire a judge to define a woman. Don't hire the Supreme Court to run the financial workings of a country or business or even negotiate foreign policy.
They're not doing any of those. What they're doing is they're talking about what the Constitution says. That's the issue y'all are forgetting. This is what the Constitution
if you
says.
Define it as a tax.
A tariff is a tax, not a tool. It's a tax. That's functionally it is. That's how it's defined.
I fundamentally disagree with that. All right. Let's see. Where are we? Let's get to a break. Bill, you'll be up next, and we'll continue. Phone lines hot. More to come. Jeff and Bill Show, 710 KNUS in Denver.
And AM 1460, FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs. This is where you get to hear both sides. Just turn it back and forth. Oh, there go the phones again. Got to grab that. We are the Jeff and Bill Show.
710 KNUS in Denver.
And waking up with AM 1460, FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs.
All along the Front Range. This is the Jeff and Bill Show. We're talking the U.S. Supreme Court decision 6-3 against Trump and his use of the IEEPA, the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, to implement tariffs. Can he declare an emergency and implement tariffs? The Supreme Court 6-3 saying, according to this law, no. Let's go to the phone lines. Bill and Parker. Good morning, Bill. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Jeff and Bill, morning. You know, Trump will come out of this okay. This is kind of an example. Be careful what you wish for or unanswered prayers. By him not getting this, he's going to have a ready-made, built-in excuse. And remember, this is all this guy is about, is excuses and who to blame. Okay, for the next 3 years, when anything goes wrong economically, we just saw growth slow down to less than 1%, to a little more than 1% last quarter. We've lost tens of thousands of manufacturing jobs these last 14 months. Chickens are going to come home to roost. You know, there'll be an implosion caused by crypto, you know, excesses in the crypto market or something. And he's going to say, hey, you know what? If the Supreme Court hadn't tied my hands on tariffs, none of this would have happened. And he's not going to take any responsibility for anything that happens for the next 3 years economically because of this.
Do you think Mamdani's doing something similar by saying, well, I can't raise the taxes, so now everybody's rent's going up?
Yeah, everybody plays the game, the blame game, I'm sure. I mean, nobody plays it like Trump. But, yeah, they all want to point fingers. And if you don't, you know, this is why socialism never works, because it wasn't perfect. It wasn't worldwide. Therefore, that's why it didn't work. You know, there's always an excuse, or the excuse of you're after me because of my politics. You know, you know, when things don't go, when you get blamed for something or something goes wrong in your watch, you say that you were a victim. You know, you were the victim when actually you're the perpetrator. So Trump is going to use this for that. He's going to, it's a handy excuse for the next 3 years. Whenever anything goes wrong, he's going to point to this. Tom Yarmus on NBC got him to say, Trump surprised me the other day. Yarmus said, so now that the Dow is at 50,000, is this the Trump economy? And unequivocally, Trump said, yeah, it's the Trump economy now, you know, after a year in office. So he's got that he's owning the economy. So when it goes wrong, he's going to have to blame somebody, because I guess he's given up on, he's admitted that it's too late to blame Biden anymore.
Bill Parker, thanks so much for the call.
Yeah, thanks,
Bill's
Bill.
line is open, 303-696-1971. Let's go to Gary in Aurora. Good morning, Gary. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, Jeff and Bill. I haven't read the Supreme Court's ruling, so it's difficult for me to argue their points. I think anybody who's going to argue one way or the other needs to read the Supreme Court's ruling, because, let's face it, those are the experts. They are not just, you know, fly-by-night individuals. They understand the law. So, but I wanted to mention one other thing with the president's State of the Union coming up. Do you remember what he said when he first took office? He said that about inflation, he said, if you fix gas prices, everything else will improve. Do you remember when he said that?
It makes sense, but yeah, go ahead.
He said that. And do you remember what he said about what percentage gas prices would decrease within a year? Do you remember exactly the percentage he said?
God, I want to say
I do.
I want to say 50, but I'm not sure if that's right. I know energy prices were supposed to go down 50%, but I don't remember gas prices.
He said several times, probably dozens of times, gas prices will be half of what they are today. And I remember when he said that, and I remember that the average gas price at that time was $3.02. Right now it's at about $2.89. That's far from 50%. And he'll probably.
What were the gas prices under Biden?
I don't care what it was under Biden. No, I'm talking about.
Well, that would determine how much he's trying to cut, because you did have in 2022 it reached $5 a gallon average price.
No, that it doesn't. What I'm talking about is what he said that he was going to do during his term. He said
$5 to $2.89 is a pretty good cut.
No, 50. He said 50% less than what they are today. That was January 6th of last year, when it was $3.02. I don't know about you, but I haven't paid $1.50 a gallon ever.
But are you happy that it is cheaper?
I'm not happy that it's only gone down 20 cents because it affects everything else, just like you said.
Yeah, it does affect a lot of things. And, I mean, under Biden, it got to $5 a gallon. It seems like you'd be pretty happy. I don't know. It seems like we're nitpicking on, well, he didn't hit the exact percentage he said he was going to.
Exact percentage, that's a far cry, 50% versus 5%. And sycophants like you, Jeff, want to keep going back to Biden, but it's President Trump delivering on what he promised.
And it's cheaper. And I think things are better. All right, Gary, Aurora, thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it.
Energy prices. That's the kicker for me. Gas prices are way too fungible for me to worry about that. He said a 50% drop in energy prices. And that's the one that if I was going to hang my hat on one of those promises of the two, it's the energy prices because that's much more difficult.
In Colorado, how do you control that if you're President Trump and Excel
Maybe
is
you don't
driving
promise
all of it?
Maybe you don't promise stuff you can't deliver. Just saying.
I got a text message here. With discounts, I just paid over $1.50 a gallon yesterday. There you go. All right, Greg Lakewood. Good morning, Greg. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Good morning, guys. Hey, it's a little off the subject, but Jeff Hildebrand used to come in on Fridays and do a poem or two.
Yes.
I was a teacher, and I had a student challenge me to write a poem about wormholes. So this is a poem to honor Jeff because I miss him on Fridays.
Oh, we miss him too. I'd love to hear this.
In the beginning, there was nothing but a hole until something came along. Science says it was light and iron. God said it was you. And then he found space to fill in. And after he thought you together and all your days too, there was only he and you and the Spirit hovering over the waters. After that, he thought of everything else, starting with worms.
I like that. There definitely is a Jeff Hildebrand inspiration inside of that one. I like you sharing that one, Greg, man. Thank you. That is a great way to ride off into the sunset.
Yep.
Yeah.
We do miss Jeff Hildebrand.
We do.
Thank you, Greg,
special.
for
Thank
keeping him front and center in our
really
minds.
Nice. That was special.
We still got his books over here.
Yeah, and in fact, I wish I had time here. I can't do the back timing. I wonder if I've got audio of him as well, reading some of the poems to us. I wonder if I can find it in time that we could do something.
Yeah, feel free
quickly.
to.
Let me see if I can
look that up. If you missed
any
of the show, go to 710knus.com to download the podcast. We debated everything from foundations here in Colorado, taking your tax dollars and going out for lunch and buying alcohol. Denver auditor saying group funded by a dedicated tax in Denver has been lackadaisical in its grant reviews, even spending thousands of dollars on fancy lunches, dinners, all from your taxpayer dollars. The Caring for Denver Foundation, they got a lot of explaining to do. We got to that in the 6 o'clock hour. Trump promising to release alien files. Maybe he knew, Bill. Maybe he knew that this Supreme Court case was coming out, and the alien files are there to distract
Maybe
you
that's
a
it.
little
Maybe
bit.
that's it. Now, I was able to pull this quick one from our friend Jeff Hildebrand. I haven't been able to listen to it previously, but I think it will fit in the time that we have allotted. This is Jeff Hildebrand joining us in August of 24 with his poem Cold Hard Facts.
I'll give you some cold hard facts.
Oof, give it to me.
Warn your friends and neighbors, this must be understood. The government did research, and the news is not too good. Drinking vodka over ice can lead to kidney trouble, and any rum done on the rocks affects your liver double. I'm warning you to warn your friends so they will understand and make required adjustments to parties they have planned. Those frozen margaritas cause more than just brain freeze, and drinking whiskey over ice can cause your heart to seize. The government spent millions. Now they say what you should do is change your drinking habits, 'cause all that ice is bad for you.
Aw, I miss him.
Oh, I appreciate that. Well, we love all of our fans. 2705 texting in. Fabulous show. Most engaging show in Colorado. Without a doubt. Glad you're broadcasting along
Thanks,
the front
Mom. I'll
range.
call you later. Appreciate that.
Have a great day, Bill. 2705 texting in. Frank, I think is his name. Thank you, Frank.
All right, thanks, Frank.
We'll be back next week. So you've got a great weekend ahead with Caldera and Mike Boyle and Peter Boyle. So be sure to continue to tune in. 710 KNUS here in Denver.
And AM 1460, FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs. Mike Boyle, he's got the Chicken Salad Chicken Monument special going on 10 to 1 tomorrow. Sunday, visit him at 303 Sports Grill in Lone Tree, 11 to 1:30. You'll get that Mike Boyle meal deal. Check out Chicken Salad Chick. They joined us yesterday or Wednesday. They're fantastic. Check them out. They're delicious.